Welcome to Hoda's Career Chat. My name is Hoda, and I'm a career management professional. I want to thank you for showing up today and for listening to Hoda's Career Chat. By career management professional, I wear many hats, and one of them, particularly for today, is I help my clients move forward in their career journey. And speaking of moving forward in your career journey, I have some tidbits to share about being hesitant to move forward. There were a lot of questions last week and the week before about that, and I thought I would share some skills that you can develop and perhaps some skills that will help you to move forward. The list in front of you will start with communication. Communication is so important, not just for finding a job, but also for keeping it. And by that, I mean, think of communication as being important in an interview. Think of it as being important in working with colleagues. Definitely work on developing your communication skills. Once you feel that you know what you're talking about and you're confident in that, then you will not be hesitant to move forward. Interpersonal skills. When I think of interpersonal skills, a lot of people would say, well, they do include leadership, teamwork, adaptability. I agree. But really, most importantly, when I think of interpersonal skill, and that is very important, is being responsible, showing responsibility and being dependable, showing up on time and delivering on your promises. So that's key in interpersonal skills. And then we talk about leadership. Leadership, when I think of it, yes, you can become a leader in your organization or in whatever you're hoping to develop, but really more importantly is leadership of your own career. That's what is important to me. You are the manager of your own career. And if you cannot be a leader in figuring out how to develop it and how to create it and how to act on your plan, you may not achieve what you are hoping to achieve. Some of you have already reached it in their dreams, and perhaps they're happy. But if you're not content and you would like to move forward, but you're hesitant, think of yourself as the leader of your career and life journey, really. The next point is mentorship. Mentorship is key for both people who are involved in the mentorship. So from two directions, whether you are the mentor, you are definitely learning. Like my experience for me, just being a mentor to most usually women in transition who are stay-at-home moms and they want to move on to work, back to work. I learn a lot from them, and which helps me develop my practice. But also, if you are on the other end of the spectrum, you are being mentored, you will definitely be more confident to move forward because the person mentoring you will have more experience and you'll have a lot of questions and they are there to help answer them for you. Mentors do not tell you what to do, but they definitely help you move forward. So that's something is important. I've also talked before in previous episodes about the importance of having your own personal board of directors. And that, I mean, really mentors. These mentors can come from different walks of life, family, friends, other people's friends or neighbors. It really depends on what your questions are, and then that will help you decide who your mentor should be. You definitely have a mentor. Teamwork is also important. Whether you want to work in a big company, you have to be able to work collaboratively and not be too judgy of other people's ideas, but show that you are willing to have an open mind and have a discussion on things that you may not like. But even if you have a private practice, and if that's what your dream is to develop a private practice, that is important because part of working with your clients is teamwork. So that's another skill that you can think about and that will help you move forward. Adaptability. Adaptability means that you're open to new change. You have to really develop this inner feeling of I am adaptable. Things are changing and things will continue to be changing. whether you want to stay with the same company and even in the same job, there are some professional skills that you need to develop. And so that's lifelong learning, call it adaptability, call it whatever comes to mind. But that continuous learning, continuous willingness to say, okay, I want to see things from a new perspective is very important in helping you to move forward in your career. And if we think of all of the above, communication, interpersonal skills, leadership, mentorship, teamwork, adaptability, they are all skills that you are in charge of developing for yourself. And that's what we think of self-management. You are managing your own progress. And that's where self-management becomes really important. So here are some tips. Take them, come back with comments, tell me what you think, tell me what works for you. And if you have any question on how to move forward in developing any of these skills, definitely reach out and I'll give you some more tips. But I don't want to take more time from this episode. And so I am quickly going to move forward to looking at your questions. Before we move forward, there are a few housekeeping rules, if you want to call them, or a few reminders to please type in your questions or send them to me directly. I need you to remember there are no right or wrong questions. For me, no question is too silly to contemplate, and it shouldn't be too silly for you to share. Believe me, if you think of it, there are many people out there thinking of these questions. So you're not only helping yourself, but you're also helping others. And one more promise to you is that if I don't know the answer, I will let you know. But I will also do my best to find the answer for you by checking with colleagues and getting back to you, either them connecting with you or me passing on the message. So let's have a look at the first question. I am in my 50s, and while I am looking forward to retirement, I am worried that I will be bored. How can I prepare for a happy retirement? Okay, this is a good question, and I would like to start by sharing a book I read recently. It's the name of the book is Don't Retire, Rewire. It's a great book. They provide you with exercises to figure out what would be a great post-retirement career. So if you are worried about being bored, this book has a lot of questions that helps you in your reflection process. As you know me, everything to me has to go through a reflection process when any move from high school to university, university to work, but also pre-retirement to post-retirement has to involve a reflection process. And this book is great. So the book's name is Don't Retire, Rewire. And if you need any more ideas on how to find what to do once you retire, if you don't want to read the book, I can share some exercises with you. Most importantly is sit and reflect on what do you like about your life today. That was really the message from the book, but I agree with it, and it's pretty close to what I do with my clients usually. Is basically sit down, go through your day, pick a weekday or a weekend, and say, what do I look forward to every day? And can this keep me busy after retirement? Or do I need to add more? Because you are going to go from a full schedule to a pretty much empty schedule. So definitely read the book if you like to read, but if not, that's what it is. You need to find what you like doing and see if it's going to keep you busy during your retirement. All right, next question. After I graduated from high school, I attended university for 3 years and then dropped out. 2 years later, I went back and completed a bachelor degree. How do I explain this gap in my resume? What I'd like to tell you is that your situation is common, so there's nothing for you to worry about and think that you're not going to get a job because of that gap year or gap years. A lot of people go through that transition for many multiple reasons. What resume writers have created is a resume called skills-based resume. And some people also call it a functional resume. So definitely Google that. But the beauty of this skills resume is it focuses on the skills rather than on the years worked. So what resume writers recommend is that you do not put years, but start your resume with a title, career management professional, for example, and then go on from there to describe the skills of a career management professional and how you would fit, particularly to the job you're applying to. Of course, everyone knows that each resume has to really include some keywords from the ATS system, applicant tracking system, so that your resume will be picked out by the machine that does that. But more importantly, you have to focus with a gap year on the skills that you have. And so if you are going to list the jobs you did, if you have any jobs, I guess right now you just graduated, that you did go, you can list them at the bottom and just list the job title. And that's all they would need to know, because your skills are at the top. And of course, your degree will come in, and no need to elaborate on how long it took you to graduate. If you would like to put your graduating year because it's recent, you can, but there's no need to elaborate that what happened. This can definitely sometimes come up in an interview later on, and that's where you'll need to worry about it during your interview prep. If you need to share your reason, if you feel like you want to share them, you can, and then explain the skills that you developed from sharing them. One of them, I know a client who had this situation happen, and the questions were, well, what were you doing during these gap years? And that's really what comes important. I mean, I work with a lot with women in transition, and that's what it is what were you doing when you were raising the kids? What kind of skills do you develop? And so these are skills, taking care of the kids, and sometimes volunteering, you pick up a lot of skills. So definitely think of the skills you've developed so far and use them in what is called a skills-based resume or a functional resume. If you like to write it on your own, there are a lot of templates online that you can look up. And if not, you can always reach to a resume writer, and they will definitely recommend the skills-based resume. Right. Should I change jobs now, or is it better to wait until COVID-19 is over? This is one of the questions that I need to know more. I would like to ask you more questions, but I'll think of a couple of scenarios that we can envision and try to answer your question without asking you more questions. Okay, so should I change job now or better wait until COVID-19 is over? One of the scenarios would be you are definitely not happy at work and you really want to leave, or you are sitting at home waiting to see where they're going to call you back after the COVID-19. If that's the case, you are home anyway. But if you are working, then you are working and you may or may not have time to change jobs. And I definitely never recommend leaving a job unless you have something else lined up or you are clear on where you are headed, whether it's another job or you want to continue education, then go back. And if you can afford that financially, that could be a case. You could do that. So one case, you're currently working unhappy and you want to leave, and this is a case where you have to, after work, during your off work hours, you can sit and start building your resume and figuring out why you are not happy and why you want to leave, and then move forward into the next steps after that. The other one is you are at home waiting to hear back whether they're going to call you back for work, then you do have plenty of time. You can again figure out, reflect on why you're thinking about a career change, and then move forward to developing a new resume and see what would be the new career that you want. What would your resume look like for it? And whether you have the skills for the new career. Is it better to wait until COVID-19 is over? There is no right or wrong answer to that, whether you change now or later. The only concern for a lot of coaches right now is that it may be harder for you to find a job. So definitely would not be a good time for you to leave now if you are one of the lucky people who do have a job and are getting paid. And if you leave now and you can't find a job, that might not be a good situation for you. So these are some things for you to reflect on, but there is really no right time to leave. The right time is for you. You are the only one who can decide that based on your financial situation, based on how unhappy are you at work, and based on what you know, or whether you know or not, where you want to be headed by leaving your current job for a new one. Okay. Next question. For personal reasons, I decided not to go to college. And that's okay. I don't think everyone should go to college. I think we all come from different walks of life and make different decisions. So this is a good choice, as long as it was your choice. How can I compete with others who have completed college degrees? I believe, again, here, the skills-based resume or functional resume would be a good choice because you are going to focus on your skills. So make a list of your skills as you're thinking about what did you do in those 4 years or 2 years that students went to college. What were you doing? Were you sitting at home? I'm sure you were doing something, even if you were sitting at home. So you developed some sort of skills. Some people volunteer, some people do part-time jobs in sales, or even working in fast food chains. If that's what you were doing, you definitely developed skills, and that's what you need to focus on. And the title of your resume would, of course, have to cater to the position you're applying to. The students who did go to college develop different skills than you. So what you will bring is different, unique skills that are unique to you. And that's how you'll compete with them. Focus on the job description, see what skills are required, and see how you develop them and share your accomplishments. With that, then you can definitely have things to show off more than that students who completed college. And I'm not advocating here for not continuing college, but when it is a personal decision you make, whether for financial reasons or because you just did not know where you wanted to be headed, so university was not a good choice, or college, you have developed skills while everybody else was studying. So look at your skills, and definitely the skills-based resume will come in handy here. Okay. I have been a stay-at-home mom for the past 15 years. I would like to go back to work, but I do not know what I want to do. Is it possible for me to find a part-time job that will allow me to take care of my family while working? Well, with this question, I see two, one embedded question and one clear question. One where it says, I would like to go back to work, but I don't know what I want to do. This is common. I work a lot with stay-at-home moms who are transitioning back to work. And sometimes we do so much for our children that we forget to take care of our skills and our needs. But trust me, by taking care of your family, you have developed skills. You can sit down and think about your day. What do you do in a typical day? There's definitely time management skills as a mom that you have developed. There's definitely some education skills that you've developed or discipline skills that you can share. So sit down and look at your typical day. And even when you go to coffee chats with your mom friends, what were the topics of discussion and what was attractive to you in those chats? Definitely a lot of skills you've developed, and this way you'll be able to find out what you would like to do. For me, I volunteered a lot in my children's schools, and so I did develop an interest in educating and in the education sector. And so career coaching is through a step of different steps actually of reflection. I've realized that career coaching was for me because I saw a lot of students in high schools, grade 10 and up, who did not know what they wanted to do after they left high school. So that's how my interests start. And then I started developing on that in the other interests that I have. So that's the first part of the question. It is possible for you to find a part-time job. When my kids were at home and they were young, I only had time to work from 9 to 2, basically after I dropped them off from school. And right before I had time to go home, make lunch, and then or make dinner, and then go pick them up from school. So I did go to a lot of retail stores, and that's where I just started because I felt I wanted to do something for me. And I did manage to find a job that was 9 to 2 in one of the retail stores. They were in need of someone to come in for these hours to just pick up on work that was not being done by salespeople. And so it worked out okay. So you depending on your hours, I'm sure you'll be able to find what you need, and you just need to figure out what you want to do, what hours are you available, and what you would like to do in those hours. Is it working in retail, or is it working in an office? Part-time jobs are common, and all you have to do is figure out your hours. And there's also companies such as Kelly that you can sign up with and say, these are my hours availability, these are my skills, call me if you have a position. So lots of temporary positions would be available, moms going on parental leaves and other people wanting to go on vacation for 2 weeks. So they do look for people who are willing to do that if you're available for their hours. So it is possible, and best of luck as you move forward in transitioning from being a stay-at-home mom back to the workforce. This is all the time I have to answer questions today. I look forward to your questions next week. But before I let you go, I want to give you something to write down or go back on YouTube and check it out to reflect on for next week, and come back with more interesting and fun answers like today, fun questions like today's questions. Stay true to yourself, yet always be open to learn. This is a beautiful quote that I think, for me, it signifies lifelong learning. Staying true to yourself, to me, signifies that you really go through that reflection process. So tell me what you're hoping to learn for next week. What are you hoping to develop, and how such learning is going to help you move forward in your career. Thank you so much for showing up today. And before I let you go one more time, I'd like to remind you that I am on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and SoundCloud. And of course, I'm on this episode will be posted on YouTube as well if you like to listen to it again, or if you like to share it with someone. Please like and subscribe. And if you have any further questions or would like to send me any comments, you can go to my website, ridecareerfit.com, where you can also sign up for the newsletter. I have a monthly newsletter that comes out that focuses on helping you move forward in your career. I'll see you next week.